Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. This is a sewing project bag that I made, and it has a zipper on it. It's made with quilting fabric, some cotton batting, but it also has some vinyl in it. So what I'm going to do is give you a little tip so that you can easily feed your vinyl through your sewing machine. This vinyl I purchased from Walmart. My Walmart does have a small fabric and crafts department. I don't know what the weight is on this vinyl, but these tips I'm giving you will work with any vinyl that you're using. So I hope you can see it. Here's the edge of the vinyl right here. And I'm going to place this thin paper underneath it. Now when you buy your vinyl, it comes on a roll. You buy it off of a large roll, and it's got tissue paper in between the layers of vinyl. So if you don't have thin paper, you could use the tissue paper that came with your vinyl. And what this paper does is it helps to move the vinyl through easily on the sewing machine. Otherwise, you won't really go anywhere. So I've got the paper on the bottom, the vinyl, and then some fabric, because on my project bag I have a little bit of fabric around all of the edges. You shouldn't try to use straight pins to hold all this together, because you'll just poke permanent holes into the vinyl. And so you want to make sure that you use clips. Now these clips you can probably get on Amazon and other sewing supply websites. So you would clip the edge all along here. Also, you don't want to have too short of a stitch length, because what'll happen is if your stitches are real close together, it's just going to wind up tearing the vinyl. The seam will weaken and it'll just rip apart. So you want to lengthen that stitch to at least a 3.0 to maybe a 3.5. It depends on the thickness of your vinyl. On my vinyl here, because it's not super heavy, I'm using a needle size 90/14. Now if you want a full-length description on how to do all of this, I'm going to have a link below your YouTube screen in the description section that will take you to this project bag so that you can see all of the steps. Let me show you one other thing you can use the vinyl in. This is a hanging wall organizer, and it's got 3 pockets on it, and I made this out of canvas. What I wanted to show you on here was I made these little pockets with the vinyl so that I could put labels in here and be able to change them out whenever I want to. So this link will also be listed below your YouTube screen in case you're interested in making something like this. And you can also see how I did everything on this step of adding this little pocket here to label it correctly. Here are some half square triangles, and I have a real easy method for making a lot of half square triangles really fast. So there is going to be a link down below your YouTube screen on how to make fast half square triangles. So there's a lot of things you can do. So you can take them and begin putting them in different orders. So you've got this square tipped up on its point, and then when you put 4 more down here, I'm just going to move these, you'll have another square tipped up on its point. It also gives a diagonal effect to your quilt. So let me show you a few other things you can do with half square triangles. This is one of my favorite table runners that I have made, and every one of these squares is a half square triangle. So all you're doing is placing them in different directions to get this little zigzag shape. Now the bigger your half square triangle, the wider your chevron, or I call this my zigzag table runner, will be. Let me show you one other thing that I did with these half square triangles. This is a small version of a chevron quilt. And I made the chevron all in one color scheme. But when you're doing the chevron, you can also make every row a different color. They don't all have to be the same. So this is what it looks like when you keep repeating the pattern, or if you want, just make that table runner any length that you like. Whenever I finish a sewing project, I always have some scrap fabric left over. So what I like to do, so it saves me cutting time in the future, is take that scrap fabric and cut it into usable squares. So if I have really small pieces like this, I will cut them into 2.5-inch squares, because there's so many projects I do where I need 2.5-inch squares. Here is a bag of 3.5-inch squares. These are 5.5-inch. And these are long strips of fabric that I also had left over. So let me show you what you can do with some of these strips. This is a small example of a coin quilt. Sometimes you hear it called stack of coins. So anytime you have leftover strips, it doesn't matter what the width are here, you can cut them any width, and they don't all need to be the same exact size going this way. You just stitch them together and then cut them in these long strips like this, and then place sashing strips in between. And you can make this any size you like, any width, any length, and if you want to, you can also add a border. So if you want to use long strips, maybe you have jelly roll strips, you can stitch them together. You select how many rows you want in your square, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want, and you cut it into a square size. You can take them and place them to where one is going up and down, across, up and down, then on the next row, across, up and down, and across. I ran across a tub of jelly roll quilt tops that I attempted to put together, and it was a disaster. And I must have gone through 4 or 5 jelly rolls before I finally got it right. And here's a sample of one of them. It didn't come out at all like it was supposed to. So the quilt top example I was showing you, where you can switch the direction of your strips of fabric, you could easily cut something like this up and make it into another quilt. Don't throw it in the trash can. You can reuse this without taking a lot of it apart. Let me show you a couple of other quilt blocks that you can cut up when it's a disaster. This is a pinwheel quilt block. So let's say it's your first attempt at making a pinwheel and they all came out a little different. They weren't quite what you thought it would be. You could cut this up and reposition the fabric pieces. For instance, you could do a cut through here and here. Take this side, bring it over here, and take this side and bring it over there. And let me show you how cool it turns out. It looks like that. So you just have an extra seam. And then when you're done, you just square it up to whatever size you want to do. So let me show you what an entire quilt would look like by cutting up a pinwheel block. So this is called the disappearing pinwheel quilt. And it looks like you spent hours stitching all these little pieces of fabric together when you really didn't. You just had a bad quilt block, you cut it up, and stitched it back together in a different order. So think about taking old quilt tops that maybe didn't turn out so great and cutting them up. Let me show you another example. Let's see if you can guess what the original quilt block layout was just by looking at this. This was a simple 9 patch. In other words, there were 9 squares stitched together, 3 in each row. And then I did some cuts going across and up and down, repositioned them all and stitched them back together. So you can take really just about any quilt top that was a disaster, don't throw it in a trash can, because I have done that, cut it up and reuse it, and you'll come up with some really unique looking projects. Well, I hope you enjoyed this sewing tip of the week and that you've learned something new. I hope you try working with those half square triangles and dig through your trash can. See if you've thrown in something there that you might be able to use in another project. There are many links down below your YouTube screen in the description section. So scroll down. Click on the word more. You'll see that word as you're scrolling down. That description section will expand open and you will see all kinds of links appearing down there. Many of them have to do with things that I talked about in here. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you go and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.